Hi, I'm 𝗂𝒂𝒏 and I'm a certified public accountant, and I'm an alumnus of the Ateneo de Davao. Currently, I'm the Chief Financial Officer of 𝗂𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒄 Medical Center, and I have a concurrent function at the corporate level. I'm also the Financial Planning and Analysis Director of the Apple One Medical Group, which 𝗂𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒄 is a part of. And also, I'm a part-time professor of the Ateneo under the School of Business and Governance. I teach in the accountancy cluster. So I've been teaching for quite a while, since 2014. I think it's my 11th year now. And lastly, I'm also a public practitioner. So some sort of a part-time public practitioner. I'm currently a partner of 𝗬𝒂𝒂𝒏 𝒦𝒂𝒂 and 𝗬𝒂𝒂𝒏, GBMG and Company CPAs. We're a small firm, and our office is here in Davao. So those are the things that I do.
Hello, sir. I'm 𝗦𝒦𝒂𝒂𝒏. I'm a fourth-year accountancy student here in Ateneo. I am very active socio-civically. So currently, I serve as the Mindanao Confederation President of an alliance of a federation in Mindanao. So that involves the Samahan Central Board of Ateneo de Davao. I'm also involved in the Buklod Atenista National Alliance. So like 2 years ago, I served as a national officer there. And of course, in previous years, but not this year, I also was part of, directly of Samahan, specifically as part of the Samahan Department of External Affairs. So I have a lot of like passion projects, especially serving as ambassadors to external institutions representing Ateneo.
All right. So it seems like we're both very busy. This is supposedly a table, and then this brown thing is the base, supposedly. So yeah, table.
Very basic na lang. So it's like the surface of the table, and then yung trays na dinadala namin on the table.
This one is a very complicated eraser. Yeah, very much like that one. So this is an eraser.
This is the 𝗕𝒊𝒄𝒐 na unit. So you have the multiple monitors and the keyboard.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Martin Hall, is that one, no? The very complicated figure of the grass beds we have there. Also, we have grass beds, so students can lounge there. So yeah.
So we have the large screen and then the chairs na naka-layout.
What has been the hardest about the transition to life after Ateneo? And I hope maybe you'd allow me, to share some stories. When you leave Ateneo and you transition to actual, working and actual practice, in our case, you'd be the hardest thing during that transition are the difficult circumstances, decisions. Anyway, I accepted clients, all right? Although part-time, but still, no, I had a practice. So anyway, there was this one client, prospect client pa, who called me. Sabi niya, we're looking for an external auditor. So sabi ko, may I know the name of your company, sir? So sabi niya, let's just discuss when we meet. So we set an appointment for us to meet and discuss. So I paid no attention kasi maybe he's more comfortable, talking about it personally. So we talked. I was with an associate. So I asked the usual questions. Diba? You'd learn this in your audit class. Sabi ko, what's the nature of your industry? And I forgot to mention, this was during the pandemic. So sabi niya, pharmaceutical. All right. So I asked the follow-up question. I asked, are you in trading or manufacturing? What concern are you? Sabi niya, trading. And then I asked the question now, what's the name of your company? Sabi niya, company X so and so. And I was shocked. Kasi, this company was quite infamous, not famous, no? Infamous during that time because, they were being called to in Congress. And what makes things worse, I know so much about this company because I discussed this in class, no, as a case study, and especially how their accountant handled, everything, if you remember, no, I think 4 or 5 years ago. Well, anyway, sabi ko, is this a joke? Seriously, huh? I said this. Ano to joke? Sabi niya, no. This is for real. Now we're looking for an external auditor, a new one. Because, we know what happened to the previous one. And then, sabi ko, we have to talk muna, sir. Can we leave the room for a while? And let me discuss with my associate. And I was really shocked. Kasi, talking about these things in the class, reading about it in the news, maybe watching it in the news, it's different compared to, facing it in reality. So, ako, honestly, and I share this usually during the convocation, I was able to share this. Sabi ko, a lot of things went through my mind, especially, commercially, you have needs, as you've mentioned. And ako then, my wife and I, my fiancé then, we're planning to get married the same year. So, you could imagine all sorts of things. But anyway, I said, I did not say anything pala. I did not have any decision right then and there, but I just said, let's go back to I told my associate, let's go back to the conference room. And then when I sat down, sabi ko, I'm sorry, sir, telling that prospect client, I apologize, I have to decline. So, that's one thing. It's difficult because, transitioning to life after Ateneo, because you'd be coming face to face with all these things, with all these issues, with all this conflict. The tagline is accountants for the greater good. And rightly so. Because, if you're just thinking about your margins and your targets and your budgets, you're only answerable to, a few stakeholders. You forget about that greater good.
So I'm really glad now that you brought up the Ateneo values that we have been taught since the start of our journey. Because definitely Ateneo gave me or opened many doors of opportunities for me. And in every single endeavor, nandyan talaga yung values. So for example, in my organizational affiliations, always ko iniisip yung sectoral empowerment. So it's not just us, like yung mga privilege or yung mainstream, but we always have to look at the margins, those at the margins of society. So always go, when I talk to my board or executive board, so we always talk about those stuff. How do we empower people? How do we contribute to society in general? Yun yung tinuro sa akin ng Ateneo, whether in Buklod Atenista or in the Mindanao Confederation. So always talaga yun siya. And there is this narrative among seniors ngayon, sir, na parang alam namin na in Ateneo, we are really taught about the values, but may narrative na once we go out into the real world, masya-shock kami, makukulture shock kami, because maybe corporations will drain the values out of us. Parang may ganun pa na fear. Diba? So, I think as a senior, as a graduating student, ang goal namin is to also find a workplace that allows us to remain rooted in our values.
Correct.
And I'm glad naman na, although it's true, may mga horror stories, ng mga corporations and stuff, but there are also those companies, those firms that do prioritize yung giving back to society. And I think in those kinds of spaces, we get to shine as Ateneans with our values intact. Workplace.
All right.
The question is, where do you find hope right now, sir?
Okay, so my answer is quite serious. But anyway, I find hope because year on year, we have a fresh batch of graduates, products of the Ateneo, you. So I could say we have hope because we have you. And then, I say this in class. when Rizal said
Mm.
that usual line, the youth is the future of our country. And I say this, I tell my students, some people, choose to be romantic about that. But ako, I'm more of a realist, and I'm taking the practical side. Because again, I repeat, the youth is the future of our country. And then I say, because we have no choice. That is fortunately or unfortunately, you're the natural replacement. I'm sorry. So, people retire, people leave, people die. And then naturally, especially us in the School of Business, we are the natural replacements to that workforce, to that gap in the workforce.
As for me, I do resonate with what you said, sir. Because, I mean, without mentioning the specifics, like a few years ago, we did see the youth really coming out
All right.
in support of stances that align with their values.
All right.
So parang that really gives us like the vision that if the youth can really come out for something aligned with their values, maybe they can really change the system, disrupt the status quo, and hopefully they can take up spaces in the rooms that matter. So parang that does really give us a great insight for the future. I guess the worry that I have would be yung sinabi ko kanina, that eventually we would get swallowed up by the system instead of standing up against the system. So parang as a senior, as a graduate, I do hope na the values will remain intact even after graduation. Yun yung sabi ko. Fortunately, there are many opportunities naman. There are, without mentioning specifics lang, because confidentiality. Pero for the job offers that have been offered to me already, these are companies that really give importance to the voices of the youth. So they give fresh graduates, like they fast track them to management level. So they get to really speak directly, for example, to executives, to the CEOs, parang ganon. So that tells me that there are companies, there are institutions and organizations that tell the youth that you matter and we are giving you the spaces to shine. So parang ganon. And I'm very glad that this is becoming more prominent nowadays, especially for fresh grads, for seniors.
What is one lesson from your Ateneo journey you carry with you today? So ako, I always go back. If there's one lesson you learned from your Ateneo journey, are those intangibles. Okay, so we know intangibles. That's our jargon. These are the things that you don't really see. You don't really feel immediately and right away, but you were formed with it. And these are the values that you carry.
Based on my Ateneo journey, I would say that you have to be open to every single opportunity that comes your way. So parang say yes, show up, stand up for that opportunity. Kasi, I mean, did I know that I was gonna go into like heavily in mga social-civic, mga advocacy programs? No, I did not expect that at all.
That's quite also a departure from accountancy. Yeah, continue.
I was able to go all the way to the Senate of the Philippines. Wow. I work with senators in lobbying for legislation. I work with the Davao City councilors. I did not expect that at all. I did not expect to join the competitions that I joined here in Ateneo. The prompt says, what is one question you would like to ask me?
I'd like to ask you truly, do you still see hope? At least for, let's say, for the Philippines.
Wow. Miss Universe.
All right.
Definitely yes. I think that in the very first place, it's hard to go against the status quo. It's hard to challenge the norms, no? And I think that's a given in any situation or any type of organization naman, or even the country. So even though it's disheartening right now, I think the youth like me really see that, okay, eventually we can change it all. So parang even right now, small steps towards like progress, small changes that will all accumulate over time. So I think we are very accepting of the fact that it's disheartening, that we're disappointed, that we're hurt even. But we think that by the time that we get into those spaces, we can make changes, small changes, that eventually, if you add it all up together, it's gonna create a big snowball effect in the country, hopefully. What is the one thing that you would tell me to hold, to think about or hold on to na you think 10 years from now, I will really look back on and say na I should have done this?
All right. Ako, I say this also in class. Especially right after graduation, you seek the opportunity that would allow you to grow, and you seek the opportunity that would increase your stock or your value in whatever sense. Professionally ba yan, as a person, you know, everything considered. So sometimes there's an easy way out. You know, there are some opportunities that would be very enticing commercially. You know, with all these online jobs that you can take, and you know, but you go back, you know, to, especially in your youth, yung 20s, you go and seek that opportunity that you would grow the best. But I know that would sound a bit privileged, because not everybody has that privilege of choosing one over the other. But still, all things considered, of course, we have our priorities, but choose the opportunity that you'd grow the best and grow the most, and where you would increase your stock or your value the most.
Thank you, sir.